Right. On this post live, we just had class, man, and it was amazing. The students are doing so well. All right, let's see if I can get Brother Sam in here. All right, there we go. Post live for the Zoom classes that we just had. Getting some great results, some great things going on, guys. I really hope y'all decide to become students. Come join. Come switch up your lifestyle. Let's see. So we touched on the palpable. What y'all know about the palpable? Let's see. Got you, Sam. All right, family. If y'all got any questions before Sam comes on, then go ahead and drop them down. We'll get them answered for you. You know, this is what we do on Wednesdays. So let's go ahead and give it a nice hump day. All right. No, nothing. How's it going? How's it going? La la. What questions y'all got today on consumer law and the administrative process? And make sure y'all hit that like button as many times as you can so we can get some more people in here who need the information. Thank you, thank you. So are you guys enjoying the videos, the ones that I'm posting? Is it anything in particular that you guys would like me to touch on outside of the birth certificate? Because they're starting to flag me for that. So I'm gonna have to chill out on the BCs. All right, brother. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
All right. 1099A. What in particular would you like to know about it? It's actually a really easy form to take care of. And I have a video that breaks down exactly how to fill it out, but guessing you may need more substance behind the why you fill it out. I have anyone in Florida. Actually, I have a guy that I learned from in Florida. Um, he's doing some big things out there right now. So to answer your question, no, but he's definitely helped me. All right, Sam. So how was the class today, man?
It was exceptional. I think we hit home on some fundamentals, put in perspective some things that people were missing in their own administrative processes, their intentions to resolve problems. They were looking at it from not necessarily the wrong legal frame, but there was a more equitable frame to express and assert and resolve their affairs. And that's what we strive for is equity,
Yeah, equity,
the highest good.
solid equitable exchange, y'all. Go ahead, brother. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yes, sir. So saw that and was productive. Having students, having someone be able to demonstrate that what we're talking about is not only a
Hmm.
Mr.
That's
Augie
nice.
88. What assurance can you provide that this double speak practice or practice is guaranteed? Can you repeat what you're trying to say?
What insurance company provide? I'm guessing he wants some kind of proof, or yeah, it's an assurance. No one can provide you assurance. You have to get it for yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, something intrigues you and it rings a bell in your spirit, you might want to look into it because someone showing you proof of anything, if you don't believe it, matters not.
Does not the substances in your application. Because the mountains that I can move or the doors that I can open may not be open to you, and vice versa.
Yes, sir. I mean, honestly, like I just encourage you to come to class, man. Like you'll be surprised how much you actually need that. Because not only does it instill that assurance within yourself, but it gives you the power to apply it. And a lot of us fail at having the power to apply. And when brothers like Sam and I get on and speak, you guys get uh, tend to get a little nervous, a little weary about you not being capable of doing something that we speak so well on. And I encourage you not to look at it that way. Come participate and come elevate yourself so that you can be better than we can, because we want you to be better than us at this. So we've done it already. I mean, that's why we're out here talking about it, trying to help folks. And people charging thousands of dollars for stuff, man, and it's unnecessary. I mean, you can just put the power in the people's hands so that they can take care of their business, so that we can all take care of our business in peace, because that's what we're really trying to create here: peace and equity and commerce, because that's what's driving us to the graves right now, quicker than it should be, because you're worrying about things you already have private enjoyment in.
Mhm. That is a key. Your rights cannot be usurped by lords. You don't live in a feudal system. There is a custom and regularity. There are checks and balances to how you represent yourself and how others represent themselves, either for you or for your benefit. And those that are not in congruence with that have to provide the penalty, which is payment or performance for your benefit, for your entity's benefit, commercial vehicle, which again, in proper context, shows you the bigger picture or the doors that you can open. Can you
Hmm.
provide a faster way to get 1099 series L white? No, unfortunately, that is Internal Revenue Service regulated. That is basically whenever they are able to disperse, provide. Right now, I believe that their parcel service is limiting 20 per per instrument.
You're the goat. That's why we get kind of nervous. We just know you guys are the truth. Highly appreciate that, family.
Definitely. But
Come join
speaking of
us in class.
affirmative, you are also the truth. You're a representative of the same social power as you have that credit within yourself. It's just you digging into your reserve and saying, I am free. That expression by itself is a demonstration of your legal personality, and it makes you unfit to be a slave. Everything else is a necessary or a proceeding, not proceeding, a uh, action from
Sure.
that first cause, which is your will.
That will be done. If you
Yes,
apply it, it will be done. This is a lot simpler than we tend to make it in our minds when we don't understand something. So if you're not getting proper guidance on your understanding, it's going to kind of keep you in the dark that you want to remain in. So don't be afraid of it, guys. You can, I'm telling you, just go through those videos on TikTok and gain you enough confidence, and come join the family so that you guys can really get the in-depth process. Um, like we're getting ready to embark on a network that's going to allow me to actually post this content in depth for way longer than just 3 minutes, and it'll run on a program. So you guys will be allotted that soon, and it's a lot cheaper. However, you guys are gonna need guidance. You're gonna want to come and get mentored properly with all of that information, so that you're not mentally just stimulating something in you that you can't perform. So I just highly encourage you guys to tap in with yourselves, come tap in with the family, and everyone around you guys is going to shower you with love and understanding and patience, because this is what we have to show in order to get you guys to that particular point in your process. Because if you're not showing love and patience to people, how are they supposed to get to the next level? We're not going to just toss you to the side and tell you you're not good enough, you know?
That is a donation pledge for gold membership as a private student. Yes.
Oh, you can see it on your side too? Fantastic. Thank you. 'Cause I'm just missing them.
Yeah. See everything.
Right. Don't forget to hit those hearts, family. Let's get some more people in here so that they can hopefully get some jewels bestowed upon them tonight, especially with the right questions. A lot of the questions that I'm seeing are already been answered on the TikTok. However, I can guide you to the right video to look at it.
Thank
Right.
you for
So
the engagement.
thoroughly. Miss Myra, no problem, no problem. Telling you guys, I hope to see you guys in class. Does this education teach signature? Yes.
Uh, yes. If you were a student today, I talked about agents in commerce and the way that they can demonstrate that they are in a capacity. But
To
there are
handle
many
that
other
affair.
endorsements, yes. But to open other doors, there are several other teachers, teachers who may teach similar aspects of endorsement. No harm, no foul with that. It's not a matter of how it's instructed, it's about how it's performed. That's what's going to open the doors. That's what's going to get you ultimately what you want. That's your interest. That's why you're here. That's why you're curious. You want to open doors that were previously closed to you.
A
So to
proper
do that, you
private
have to have the
status.
proper reference point. Private status is private enjoyment. Said differently, you distinguish that. What is private and what's public?
Yeah, they were students was talking about that in class too. About the SPC, quote unquote, and how the administrative process kind of derails and debunks such things that don't truthfully need in order to apply this method. Because you don't need all of
Yes.
that stuff. I mean, it helps,
Okay.
but it really doesn't even help. It's just more a mental protection that you need yourself to have. I mean, you can apply those contracts, of course, but the contracts that you're trying to enforce are the ones you're trying to discharge. So
Exactly.
those don't apply to discharging anything. It only
Yep.
applies to other contracts that you make outside of your actual obligation with said
Exactly.
company. So that I say that one correctly, Sam?
Yes, yes, you said it excellently. And Rose Golden 369, good evening. Yes, we cover trust actions, fiduciary responsibility. You have to know what that is in order to properly operate as any agent for any principal,
He
whether it
just
is
dropped a
a
nugget on me just there.
artificial person or a real, natural, living, flesh and blood person.
Mhm. Do not know the law within the state. Hmm.
Hello,
Ask.
Saul J. What's really good? And Myra, do not know the law within the state with regards to what trust or
Let's see. Not a bad one. Just got to have proper context. Got to have proper context. So you're operating within the land and air. Go, Sam. I'll let you take that one. Interesting way of looking at it.
that is definitely a operative way of performing. It's one dimension, but operations within the land and air are typically reserved for nations. And I don't have a military power personally. I don't have an armada to distinguish my territorial claims. So what I would say with that is I'm going to operate in commerce in my proper standing and protect or reserve my capacity. So I'm no longer liable for
Islam.
anything made under duress or outside of my capacity.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hopefully that answers
no
the question.
confusion. I'm trying to be clear, but again, if you want more in depth or nuance,
Come to
so
class. Come
yep,
to class. I'm telling you guys, come. Not just saying that just to be on some, trying to promote just that particular aspect of it, but I'm telling you, it will not click properly if you don't have the proper context. If you don't have a foundation, there's no creation.
nope, there's not. Glad you're grasping, and thank you for the engagement, Mr. Augie. 88. Respect, respect. Anubis observations, I say, and James Islam.
Um, in my J 4676. I appreciate it. I'm just glad that you guys can mentally take this stuff in because I know it bores a lot of the masses, I should say, however. But if you're trying to do something out here in commerce and you really want to deal with the big wigs, you're gonna have to get yourself up and informed with intelligence. It can be cool all day, but you're gonna be stuck in your situation. And they don't like dealing with cool people. They like dealing with intelligent people,
Yes.
wise men, so to speak. That's
Yep.
why you had three of those wise men who had to come and get the light.
Yes. They were the magi, magicians, the magic makers, the philosophers. They were also stars astrologically, but that's a separate esoteric teaching of a specific sect group. So I'll keep that close to home in my breast. Uh, the next class every week we do Zoom lectures, but to be a party to that Zoom lecture, you must be a student.
And you will have access to all of our previous lectures because we started this. This is our third week. So you guys is actually a good time to kind of get in and get all of those lectures in and abreast to this last one that he's about to pop off. And this is where everything circulates and hits home. So we got the anticipation out of the way. So now you get a little meat.
Yes. But going into it, there is a specific pledge that we ask of you. It's not really for any monetary gain to us. The duty is a pledge to yourself to maintain your curiosity, but also to reframe your brain, your mindset for the space that you are making. Because some of the things that you will undergo or learn as you experience, because all of this is about experience, is not in alignment with what you've already experienced or practiced. But in order to change your environment, you must practice with new mental patterns.
Hmm.
Yes. So if you're not compatible or willing to do that, needless to say, thank you for being present, but we cannot assist you in that way.
Y'all can go on anyone else's page and see what kind of information they're putting out, gauge it to mine, and see is this something that I'm trying to hide from you guys. I want you guys to have it, but as you can see, the context still doesn't click because you don't have the foundation. You don't have the foundation. And I wish that I could put it on there, but it's too much. It is way too much. That would take up like a month's worth of TikToks for me to get to you guys. And that's probably only going to be a quarter of it. We just did like a 3 hour lecture
Yes.
on the foundation three separate times. It's 9 hours worth of info. There's no way I could put it all out there. I'm trying my best though to get you the nuggets that you seek so that you can be guided to the ones who mine the gold. So come get your equitable exchange and pledge it to yourself that it's something you desire to have and go get it. I mean, I think that that's fair, family.
I think that's fair. I also return and see your equity. Because that's really what this is about. It's fairness to yourself, to the universe. You can't make space for something that you haven't provided within yourself, within your environment, which can be destructive. Because the other
Hmm.
aspect that I say to students that they really need to grasp and understand is that things that you're asking for, those doors that you're asking to be opened, some of the people experiences that you previously had are not compatible with where you're going if you enter that space, and you have to be mindful of that, which can be,
Hmm.
positive or negative to your level of understanding.
Hmm.
That faithful old thing, that Diddy Bop, more money, more problems. It's a
The
good
thing,
antidote. It's much, much, much deeper than that. It's a different relative perspective on what matters
yeah,
more.
hmm, and even see giving out free information is still an issue. So, coach, I'm not trying to be down here. I read and saw someplace that TT is going away in 30. Talking about the treasury. Well, if it does, they have to implement another system. But with your proper performance, you will have no issues because it's not about getting anything from anywhere. It's about already knowing what you are and applying that method to the agent. Okay? Because if you are the agent, you have the power to act on behalf of something. So continue to do so. There's no TikTok. Catch. I'd like to enroll. That link is in the bio, brother.
It's what we're here for.
Okay. You know what really
Thank you
tripped
for
me out in
the
the lecture was
engagement
that pop bull, man. That just still rocks my cranium.
in the proper frame.
Hmm.
Yeah, in the proper frame.
1655, 1666, even though it was a 65.
It's having that proper chain. It's understanding what the distinguishing factor is between a pledge
Hmm.
from a sovereign and a deficiency or a default. That
So
is
just
the chain and the remedy provided for under the law of nations. What is happening? What power is being exchanged when that government or prince is unable to influence? They're not able to pay their debts, handle their affairs. There's an
hmm,
exchange of power. Not always under violence or duress, but sometimes under the consensual agreement of those subject to the prince, to the government,
hmm,
to the power, providence, or the representative of that providence.
sir. That's it. The most important thing that anyone can have nowadays is have an intellectual awareness of property.
Yes.
Intellectual awareness of property is major when you're dealing in commerce, guys.
Yep.
How do you apply things? How do you accept things? How do you refuse things? Because you have to do them in honor. A lot of us are used to acting a little wild and getting become disrespectful in order to get the things that you want. However, you can't maintain them. It's not meant for you
Nope.
to maintain because you're not moving in equity. So you may get that quick yes from a Satan mentality, and then you may get that prolonged no that gives you that forever. Hopefully that didn't go over some heads, but when you start to move in equity and honor, a lot of things change in your life, just period. So move in equity, family.
Yes.
Not willing to give, don't plan on receiving. And you got to give to yourself first. And what do you give to yourself first? Intellectual awareness of your property, because that means anybody could ward over it. because you don't know how.
Yeah.
So control your mind and apply it.
If I was thinking with a military mind, I would see things as conquest or power. Am I dealing with allies or am I dealing with enemies? Those foreign to my custom.
Hmm.
I'm going to be a little bit more friendly to my allies than I am going to be necessarily to my enemies if I am of a predatory mind. Commerce is a lot like conquest, but there's rules of engagement that reflect the battlefield. And when you leave the battlefield, everything is left behind.
Y'all gotta pick up on what you're putting down. 'Cause that's a fact. Because
You
commerce
that
is war.
surrender lose. That is a loss. That is, if you are a Roman, cowardice that makes you worthy of slavery because you haven't applied your civic duty. You have not spoken and expressed your freedom,
Hmm.
your right, or your interest in freedom
Interest
by
is a big word,
resolving
guys.
your current situation. Yes,
Hmm.
that is how deep and intrinsic this is because this is going back to civilization, early and successful conquerors.
Hmm.
But beyond that, understanding what is of value in a society, in a community, in a tribe, who's a credit to the tribe, anyone that exists by proxy of that family pedigree. But beyond that, anyone that preserves and protects the ability of that tribe to what? Continue. They make
Hmm.
themselves what? Not invaluable.
Yes,
So we want to
offer.
be invaluable to ourselves and to our or to a respective principle that may or may not have the same name as you, just a little bit different, a little variation.
Hmm. It's okay to have that. You got to understand the variations.
Yes.
Because I promise you, it doesn't come from a filing. It comes from your awareness to perform. That's where it comes from. That's where all of this stuff derives from. Um,
Yes.
I'm not talking down on it whatsoever because I mean I'm pretty sure it's helped some people get through some things, but I don't know how long that's going to remain because it will only work for so long that these things can be implemented against something that created you. That's all I'm saying.
Yes. We don't want patchwork. We don't build dams in fear of floods.
Hmm.
You build a dam to what? Create a levee, to create a base of water, to move water, or to cultivate land. So you're cultivating new land by exchanging or changing the current of the water that you're already in. So how do you change the current of the water you're residing in?
I don't know, brother. How you do it? Family. I really need y'all to come to class and come get this down so you can be doing the same
So
things that we're
knowing
doing.
what you're responsible for. So what are you responsible for? Not what somebody else says. What are you responsible for?
Hmm. Are they your affairs? Are they your obligations?
Mhm.
Is it your proper standing in matters that you are privately enjoying? Ask yourself that question and pay and really see how that's working out. All right. I don't see any more new questions, so let me try to go through here a little bit. Is the Zoom only for gold members? Yes.
So
Oh,
to distinguish with that, gold is for our active students who again are pledging their energy, their attention to reframe their point of reference for commerce, for their affairs, for how they distinguish what they can do, where they can go, what doors are open to themselves. Silver is for self guided study. You do what you can when you can do it until such time as you can actively be a student. And then general is just for anyone who wants to support or has interest in what we're talking about, our lectures, whether they're public or private, and templates for applications of different obligations.
mm-hmm.
So obviously, the preference for us, the intention behind them is to teach you how to fish. You don't want to fish and you just want some fish. Hey, guess what? That's the general admission and the silver. But we much rather you know how to fish
Seriously,
for your own preservation.
because that's primarily what's being taught here, self-preservation. Honestly, it's an absolute must. At least with dealing with us, because we're not leaving anybody behind. So that's just not gonna happen. Not gonna leave you behind. We don't move like your ordinary creditors or debtors do. We're here to make sure that you can apply your range administratively on both sides of the ledger here. You can benefit as a debtor, you can benefit as a creditor, you can benefit as a living natural being, you can benefit as a trustor or fiduciary. It's whatever role you plan on playing in your agreements. And telling you, family, that's the administrative process in a nutshell. Is that awareness to not be boxed in. You don't want to be boxed in. Nobody does.
Yeah. But full disclosure, we're not giving you legal, ethical, or moral advice. Do not decide or base your decisions for your life, your quality of life, or your management of your affairs upon us. The reference point we give, the instruction I provide, that Coach Brown provides, is all about the substance of obligations, the substance of learning what preceded you so that you can make a choice on how to resolve the matters that are being presented to you. What preceded to understand how to move forward. Understand the past so you can manifest the present and clarify your future. That is the goal. That is the instruction. That is the essence, the core of teaching you to fish.
Hmm.
So there is no guarantee for anything else. But if you're of a sound mind, curiosity, and you have a pledge or a willingness to yourself to open those doors to resolve those affairs, you will do things for yourself that what am I talking about? I'm talking about the benefit or the interest that you would have in learning from us. Why do this? Why give us your energy or your time at all? It's energy that you are already paying to yourself in some respect by listening in, because you're learning things or being exposed to things, whether you've talked about it or not, or thought of it, that challenge either a present understanding you have or uh, clarify something about something you've already done. or tried or know someone who tried and failed or succeeded. It's demystifying all of that by having a proper understanding of what's real and what is
Was allegorically
fiction.
practiced,
Yep.
because that's what a lot of things that I see that's happening lately is people are allegorically practicing methods you don't understand. You got to understand something first.
Yes. Because if
Don't
you
have
don't understand, you
understanding.
will still be punished. They will not say, "Hey, what was you? Is you demonstrating competence or representing yourself as being competent? You are held liable for your affairs. Something
Absolutely,
must happen as a
absolutely.
consequence."
We don't want the consequences on you guys. We don't want them on anybody because they are relentless, and they should be, because you're in here playing a game and you're not ready for it. You're trying to play basketball with a football. Can't do it. You can't play soccer with a golf ball. But if you know how to swing on the golf course, you may be able to get to that final hole. And that's what this is about. It's a long game. It's a long game. It's understanding first. Don't go out there and hurt yourself or hurt anyone else. Allegorically teaching
We're
things
not,
you don't understand.
nope. We don't encourage that, and I don't incite that. And I expressly say each day, each time, whether on the media that I publish privately or during lectures, what the purpose is for the not intellect, for the material, for the instruction,
Hmm.
to give you a frame of reference so that you can apply elements to your situation, to your leisure, to your choosing.
Exactly. How much can
If
I
I
pay
give y'all a
outright?
template or I limit y'all to a template, you hinder yourself. You restrict yourself to a box. Or worse yet, you may not yet understand everything that goes into why I may fill something in or not,
Or
or
not?
substitute my own form.
My bad, brother. I'm responding to Marco Polo 703.
Not a problem. Thank you all for the engagement tapping in. Any questions from anyone? We'll keep talking. The more y'all engage, whether that's questions or tapping the screen, it's appreciated.
Definitely is. Let's get someone where they need to be in a better position alongside us all. The more
Yes,
people that gain competency, the better this place is going to be. And at the end of the day, that's the works of the gospel that need to be given. So
yes. But you want to know who the responsibility lies with for that respect, for educating, for practicing correctly.
it can be within ourselves.
Yep.
It's the
What's the
estimated time.
estimated time of the process? That is purely based upon you. Uh, what I'll speak to for my examples, for those that I've helped, that I've already taught, discharged a lease, meaning for an apartment, within, what was it? It was 555, so 15 days. But again, that's a different type of application. That's one application.
Hmm. That blew their world up.
Yes.
I mean, as it should. It should wake you.
Mhm.
It should give you power because you already have it. Can you explain your way of a restricted endorsed bill? Feel like I got it, but need another opinion.
Well,
It was like a templated question.
yes, that is. I just just spoke on that opinion aspect of giving a template.
When you become a student, we'll lead you in the right direction with that because it's just a way that you, even the way that the question is presented, it speaks volumes.
I will say
Some
you
could really,
probably know more than what you may believe, but you have to make that distinguish between allowing a wrong or enforcing a right. Notice I said allowing a wrong or enforcing a right.
hmm
If you allow a wrong, you will not receive compensation. No one has to pay you. No one has to do anything. If you enforce a right, you might see a change. You might get something done to correct a harm. You can't do that without understanding why you're doing it. So the first aspect or the main aspect of what you asked, to be fair, is why are you doing the restricted endorsement versus a general endorsement? And when you know that and you can quantify that, the science is right there. It doesn't have to be all drastic, doesn't have to cite 20 million codes. It's just about understanding the essence, the core. Why am I doing this?
hmm What
And
about
enforcing.
property ownership? Excuse me. What about property ownership and motor vehicle ownership with MOS?
Manufacturers, well, you can only do that for what? With respect to specific types of conveyance. That means that there is a private ownership or private interest, security interest, public or private. Doesn't matter. That's the only way that you're going to be able to properly convey those things. That requires instructions and it requires a vehicle or a trust, a covenant between someone for another.
There's
So if
just
you
so
can
many
meet
ways to
that,
do that.
yep. If you can meet that, then you can protect whatever you're trying to protect because that's ultimately what you're trying to do with what you're talking about is a deed. You want to protect it. Why buy something if you can't protect it? Why have something if you can't protect it?
Or at
Unless you
least
just want to
properly
be a
enjoy it.
trustee. Yep. Unless you want to be a trustee. There's nothing wrong with it. We all have a responsibility to some degree. It's just knowing how to do your part properly.
Are you the former mayor of Jacksonville, Texas?
No, I'm not a mayor. I'm
He
much too
is in the
private.
village.
I may do some other things here soon, but I'm waiting a couple of years to speak on that publicly.
hmm Okay, don't drop it all, man. We still need you.
Yes,
Yeah, that's funny. I hear you. Let's see. Join that. I'm probably gonna be going through this last lecture like 3 or 4 more times before the weekend. You
sir.
killed it today. And
No
these
problem. I
quizzes.
enjoy it.
Mhm.
Try to hit it from both sides, or at least two different lenses. Gave them the historical, and then gave them the legal or commercial in the same setting.
Mhm.
Thank you for the questions. Anyone we missed? T Web answered that. Trish, thank you. XX Low, still learning. Just got the red roll today. We'll be sending my affidavit out this week. Okay. Best fortune in your pursuits in the administrative process. I hope that you are prepared for war and you have a resolution for the war that you wage. If you don't have a resolution, you are in deep water and your ship will sink. When I say
Damn.
sink, I don't mean literally. I mean figuratively, like you will be held hostage, captured, extorted under piracy laws, maybe.
Hmm. Really, no, maybe to it. People play like that. I'm not gonna say play like that if they're playing against something, but when you decide to move in that manner, you better be that better be an armored vehicle with bulletproof glass.
Yes,
Be mindful,
understand
family.
fully what you're doing. Okay. Sorry, how to get to your Patreon? You just go to Coach Brown IV's TT and you look at his bio. There is a link for that direct access to it. That is where it is. We both work through and contribute energy to the page, the Patreon. Silent 21.
Just another bill of exchange or like check slash money order. Probably referring to something that we were speaking on about conveyance.
Yeah, I would need you to either become a student or privately consult with us if you wanted just a specific question answer to that degree. It sounds like you're on the right track, but need to know where your mind is going with that. And I know that you can't type it that quick based on it being TikTok. So reach out privately. We're here. Public
And I'll tell them
accounts.
best to
I'm a
get to
little
you
bit more
guys.
private, but I've opened this up to y'all. Give y'all my energy.
It's just it's way easier for you guys to become students, so our energy can be poured right into you. Um, it's just the messages. I have quite a few hundred on a daily basis, so I can only really go through what I can go through on here. And I sincerely apologize that I don't have that God mode text capability, but um, I can only pledge energy to those who pledge energy to themselves at this moment, just because we're taking care of quite a few people who really want to get this thing done for themselves. And yep, month to month, they'll be freeing themselves of obligations as they should because they learned it themselves. Not because we're doing it, it's because
Yeah.
we're not doing anything but guiding. Yes, I have given a lot of information for free. I'm going to still be giving it out. I mean, it's public knowledge, and I've applied them in ways that make sense. And I don't know, I don't know if this group, this batch of individuals that came in, we're getting ready to be put on a network. So this network will allow you guys more in-depth information and longer videos for, a fair price, so that you guys can dig into it and try to piece it together as much as you can. So it'll be broadcast and programmed just for certain things that we teach privately. So hope you guys enjoy it and can get all the nuggets that you can out of it properly. And just know that we're working hard on this end to put the information out properly and privately. So here you
More importantly, to see the value of yourselves. Because if you don't see it or hear it often enough, you have inherent value that you have not expressed or have not yet defended. And that puts you in a position of, well, specifically, it's not a fault, but it can be perceived as a fault or a defect. And it takes your courage, it takes your soundness, sureness to correct that deficiency or that claim of deficiency that others make upon you. That's your social credibility. That's, hey, I'm here, I'm ready, I'm prepared. Because we don't go into things unprepared. So that is the main strategy or pressure point that we stress, even with students who have been with us for a while, is don't go into things before you're ready. What may work in one situation may not guarantee success in another. Same principle, but again, cannot be applied in the same way because we're not trying to cause any liabilities. We're here and we want our interest is in proper performance and proper execution. That means compliance. Compliance with who? Compliance with what? With custom and regularity. That means that we're not just doing anything that we've made up. We're doing something that is actually logical, that is, there's evidence that is proven, that has been done or has been done, and it follows that logical chain in history. History.
It's all good, brother. No, that's how we speak. Let's see. Hello, New here. How is everyone? I think everyone's good. Hopefully, you guys are getting some nuggets. I see the hearts and stuff going up, so I thoroughly appreciate it. We're trying to pump this information out as much as we can, to where it makes sense and people are actually engaging in proper methods of practice. I
Yes.
need help with the processes. We'll see. We'll see you soon. Say you're gonna be joining the village soon, and you will get that thoroughly. If you don't get anything else first, it's definitely gonna be that. So the process is what we all have
More than
needed help with. So it's not
yes.
necessarily an affidavit or a proctored letter to put in public records, which, you know, people like that kind of stuff, so I don't mind putting it out properly. But there's much more to it than that.
Mm-hmm.
There's much more to it. I just know that's what people are attracted to, and I want you guys to get to the proper method through those vehicles that attracted you here.
Yeah.
I would like to know
Yes,
more.
sir.
I've been doing the process, but miss a lot. Okay, sweetheart, gotta come to class. That's where you're gonna dig it. Okay, so that link in the bio to come to class, and you will get everything that you guys are asking for. You'll be surprised how quick you're gonna get it, because
Get it
we
because
have
you
to,
understand it.
because you understand it. You know? Because you have to shatter the old mindset. Like you have to shatter it. All these other ways that you've been trying to get to it with, you need a proper proctor. You need a great teacher, and you need a good village around you in order to absorb it properly. At least what I'm saying, not that many people can independently act in this and expect to win a war by yourself, because commerce is war.
Mm-hmm.
This is for entertainment purposes only, because I'm not trying to incite riots.
Yeah.
However,
No bloodshed. We're not Lex Talionis. We're not acting for retribution. We are acting for resolution. That is the understanding and the caveat resolution. So everything that you say or claim, you get to define the terms of resolution. If it is
mhm,
private, whether it's between you and another natural person or you and an artificial person, you get to set those terms. And if they're agreeable, hey, guess what? You get closure. You get exactly what you're asking for. And you know why? Because you knew how to lead and to
mhm,
perform. Because you set the tone. But if you're underprepared, guess what? It's like going into an interview with your shirt stained, half wrinkled, show 35 minutes late. It's less likely you're going to be taken seriously, if even offered a second opportunity for an interview.
mhm. Exactly.
So uh, getting into the social credibility, your first date, that's either going to seal the deal or it's going to push away.
Hmm.
And you want your resolve to match the intention, the intensity of what you're giving off. Why did you have that interest in the first place? Mind you, I'm applying that to a social context, but still commercial. It is the same principle.
always and forever. The way that it's set up, the way that the laws are structured for that conveyance, it's not changing.
Mhm.
They can close down whatever they want to close down, but when you're in the private capacity, operating in a private way, you get private enjoyment through how you handle your affairs.
But you don't get that being combative. So it's like understanding that duality is what's going to hit home or protect you as you continue to develop your understanding and to demonstrate that courage and that resolve that you have with minor or larger, issue resolutions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what else we got here?
Yep. Thank you for the engagement. Please keep tapping the screen, ask some questions. Will having my BC authenticated speed up the process? It can speed up a process, but it's not a requirement because it's already technically been authenticated. How do you know that? It's been recorded. Why was it recorded? That has the chain that has to follow. Which came first, the egg or the chicken? Something had to exist before that could be quantified, and that led to something else, and that led to something else. And that's the energy that you're representing with that vehicle, with that BC. So if you know that, then you get the substance. Having
Hmm.
it, hey, beautiful, important, but may not be relevant for every situation.
But that's just not how you want to approach many of them. You want to approach them based on an instrument that not yours.
Where would I apply for a national passport? The same place that you would apply for a citizen passport, believe it or not. Or you could go to a different department, which that's separate knowledge, and get a different diplomatic for entertainment purposes. I'll leave that alone. Diplomatic badge.
Don't do it. Dude, with that one right there will have them going nuts. So that's something I'm not posting on TikTok. I'm sorry, guys. I
No,
love you, but I
definitely
love you too
not.
much because y'all will be will blow that place up, man. Let's see. Is the living BC better? Please. I mean, serves the same purpose. But I'll let Sam kind of elaborate on that if he's willing.
Is the living BC better? Well, living BC would have to meet the same requirements, unfortunately, of the dead, the NS state BC, all caps, commercial vessel. So it met the same tests, but in a private aspect, it was maintained outside that control test and outside the authority test, then absolutely. But otherwise, it would be considered domestic. And if it's domestic, it's subservient or subordinate to operation of law. Operations of law meaning corporate U.S. business, commerce.
Hmm.
So that's what we always want to be mindful of. You don't just have one type of capacity, you have several that are triune. You have that ethical, financial, legal, political. All of them are civic, meaning that they must be expressed to be performed or be resolved. I read the Dissolve, that, okay. That's a great book, hard to practice if you don't already have some other things in place. So I get where you're going. I understand the mindset, but that still doesn't give you everything or isn't
See if he pops
congruent or
back in.
necessary for what we're doing. I
Yeah.
include similar parts, but yeah.
I hope it's for the better, family. My Coach Brown, you changed me.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm hoping that's for the better. Like, pretty ominous to say that.
I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, good evening. Just saw your video for the first time. So it's in your link. Just sign up. Yes, ma'am. Just click through the link and, pledge gold, and that's what you're going to be receiving. To use your phones and pay with promissory note. Is there any legal backlash? To use your phone.
Legal backlash.
Oh, goodness. That's a new one.
Why
Can
would
you
you have
elaborate?
why would you have backlash for doing your duty? The main aspect is proving that you've done your duty with respect to said PN. Because if you know that, you know what your duty is, you're good. That's all lawful and compliant per operation of law. But that is, yes, studying. You study to reform your previous understanding. Once you've reformed your previous understanding, now you can feel the security and the assurance of that self knowledge because you have what? Corrected lens to
Intellectual
receive
property.
light, receive the benefit of your real environment. That is how your eyes operate. That is how you operate mentally. That is spiritually how you operate. But I'm gonna leave that gem
Right there.
right there where it is. Okay, Lynn, that's a good question, but I think I need to look at your previous question, Lynn. Yes, you can, but what is your duty with respect to those funds, that value? So when you understand your duty, you can do something, but there is a agency relationship that must be explained or proven, or at the very least, conduct that shows that there is a duality, that the two are not the exact same, two being whoever you are with respect to that other thing,
That you're
that
trying to
collateral.
implement.
Yes. So I hope that helps you. I'm not trying to be mystical or evasive with it. That is the direct gem for you in that regard. It can be done, but your comprehension is what will open that door or close it to you.
Paramount. Paramount. So you're trying to say done. So yep, I believe that's what they're trying to say. I actually had a student that did something similar.
Hmm?
It's very possible. Let's see. Competency was expressed. Where can I
Yeah.
get the information in detail? I will just message you directly.
Any information that I provide is private. It is something I put my energy into creating. That's why it's not open source, because I'm giving that. So I get to distinguish who I give it to, who I entrust it with. I wouldn't give a weapon, you know, to a individual who would not treat it as such.
I want to see if I can just bring the link in here because it won't let me just have it up.
Yes, the Patreon, that is a hub for that information, private lectures. You can sign up there if you so choose. QSIPs, that is a type of system, and its relationship to the BC, a security, or the SS, a security, is relative to the Uniform Commercial Code. That is a custom or regularity that must be observed, must be traceable in regards to that public debt obligation or private investment security. So those are the distinguishers. But they still follow under the same operation of law
Mhm.
and public policy.
So he breaks down those policies. He, you guys will understand if you
Can you
come to the
get
tribe.
can you get that? That's something separate. That's something separate. I get where you're going, but if you're talking about walking around with gold doubloons and silver, not just with the QSIP.
Hmm.
Something else has to happen to get the gold doubloons, to get the gold bars. You want to be a pirate or a nation.
It's a distinction.
Those are the two distinctions. Like,
They will treat you like one. GMEI utility. Great place to go.
yeah, it's just a record book, record keeping.
Hmm.
I hear that. There's a little bit more to it, unfortunately. More money, more problems, more assessments that need to be made.
You're gonna need to definitely gonna want to appoint somebody to take care of those for you because it's not anything you've practiced long enough to comprehend, myself included.
I'm not going to speak on that. So
I
it's
know.
more problems than what you assume. I'll leave it at that.
I'm trying to tell you, brother.
I don't like getting phone calls from. Yeah, I'm not even gonna say that on this forum because,
Hell, you
yeah,
please don't. You already know
yeah,
how that's gonna go. So already know how that's gonna go. They're gonna take me down, y'all.
I got you. I mean,
I got
this
your
this
back.
is this is your venue, man. This is why you're the face, man. You got the charisma. You can bring people in. I'm just talking, just
Hey,
teaching.
teaching. But this is the guy I learned from. He gave me the, how can I say this? The courage and conformity to speak it properly. So I'm bringing him to you guys. Said I'm
Yes.
silver, having problems. Okay. Well, I can deal with you directly through the Patreon. Let's take a look. Sure you don't want to go gold? You don't have to. Found it. Okay. Found that. What packages are you trying to get into? With you being on Patreon, you should be able to send us a message directly as well. And just let me know what issue you're having.
Being patient should be a topic for some people,
Good
and
night,
good
Tim.
night to you too if you haven't already left. But yes, patience is a virtue Just because you demonstrate competence doesn't mean that everything that you wish for or ask for can readily be made available to you. Why?
Hmm.
Why not? This depends on what your situation is. If you've done something, and I made this comparison earlier, if you've been doing something, I don't want to say incorrectly, but if you've been doing something a certain way for a certain amount of time, anybody who has been operating with you with respect to the way you've been operating, they have a lot that they must undo now or correct and uh, distinguish so that they can fulfill their responsibility to you with what you're asking about or where you're trying to go. Because they have to grow now too with respect to you. Because now they know who they are to you. So
Hmm.
hope this is helping. Hope that this is clicking for those who are more intermediate or already advanced and enjoying this. Is doing it correctly and understanding that it will take time. How much time? That's your metric.
Going to the bank tomorrow for them to deposit only my payment coupons I got from the car insurance.
Well, that's some definitely some confidence. If you're sure of that and you want to demonstrate it, more power to you. That might not be the proper vehicle for it, but if that's who the interest is addressed from, if that's the draft bank, the bank that was saying they had something for you, hey, go ahead, hey, deposit that check, get that interest back. If it's not, you may run into some problems because that doesn't necessarily align to operation of law. They don't have a responsibility to you if they're not a party to that, unless it's negotiable. Then you're cooking with Crisco. Then you have an ability to move that around, deposit it wherever you so choose.
Hmm.
What is our objective? It is the proper understanding of commerce. It's what I want all students or people who are intermediate, advanced, or beginners interested in any of this to understand. Know the rules so
Business.
you can fish and we can
Hmm.
preserve commerce because that's the goal. We want to stabilize commerce. We want to protect ourselves, protect each other. Has anyone actually accessed that? Yes, I know people. Do I personally access that? No, I actually gave it back. Why? Because I want credit. I like that position more than other positions.
Hoarding over funds you know not how to assess.
Mm-hmm. A lot of
That's why they.
responsibility, a lot of oversight. How do you protect something like that if you're worth a lot? Because everybody is not honorable like you may be, or at least as you may intend to be.
They're, don't play around that way unless you know what you're doing. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of those people are wreck banks. So unless you're willing to do that to maintain such equitable exchange, I wouldn't pursue it
Or
until
you're
you're capable.
yeah, or you're moving to an island somewhere. Because
And
guess what?
even
You're
it's
in
still coming.
yep, you're in somebody else's territory, and
Hmm.
piracy goes wherever crime.
Wherever the money is at,
Yep, crime is
because
abundant.
you're on their land. You're in their jurisdiction, really, regardless, foreign or domestic. They still can practice what they want to.
Yep, and doing that without protection, without coverage, it's not necessarily advantageous. Can do it. It's not fear. It's just preference. What's your mode of transportation? If you just want to pull a portion, well, you're gonna need you're the the best way to explain it is you're going to do something in good faith. You were going to demonstrate a interest payment. So if you're ready to pay something for that service, like if you were to go to a check cashing place and say, "Hey, I want some negotiable instruments. I want some FRNs for this check," and they take a cut. If you're willing to give up a cut, yeah, you can cash that all day. They're still going to get a cut. Do you have to give them a cut? No, but if you want what you're asking for, then that's what you're going to have to do. So you have to know what you can do, how you can do it, and not what they're going to ask for, but what better way to understand what is industry standard. That's what I'm going to say. That's better. What is a industry standard for that? Because they're not going to ask for that. You just have to know what is honorable. Otherwise, you're not an honor. Anything that you do related to that, guess what? You're inviting them to take your stuff. That's piracy.
All all of it too. They're not even gonna wait. They want you to mess that up,
Yep.
and you're gonna do it if you're not ready.
Mm-hmm. So it's just 4%. Oh, that's too. That's a little bit too low. I like where you're going, but that's too low. If we're being honest, there's a pretty big window, and that's not necessarily courteous.
It's really not. That's really gonna make them want to take it off. Tell you thank you for your signature. Get out of here. That's how they gonna do you. All right, it's all right. So you just need a little coaching. That's it. If you're gonna play like that, you need a team. If you're conversing with the Most High, you want to
Whatever that
learn.
may mean for you.
Mhm.
Excuse me.
4%. My brother, I hear you.
I wish it was like that. No, I just
You floating on clouds. But some things are just unnecessary, family. It's just, I know it seems enticing, but it's only enticing because you don't know the other process. The other process is way more lucrative for you and your private enjoyment, way more. At least in my opinion. I enjoy moving that way. So get what you want, keep what you have, and you enjoy that private equity you created
yeah. Again,
because
that's
you
not for
created.
everybody. They get to choose their affairs. It's just if you want to get different results, you're going into a different territory, a territory that we do not advertise. Because I've skirted the waters, and again, I just said piracy over there. Not interested in getting extorted.
Not anymore. It already has been.
Yep,
Publications and or acts should want to study.
a lot, a lot that I provide privately under a lecture plan because I also give out PDFs regarding my library, but public, public publications, Internal Revenue Code, boring but necessary. Um, Public laws, statutes at large, 31 USC 5118, 28 USC 3002, talking about a corporation, a I've known for years how your stock. Yep.
Curious how this decentralized. Well, same, it's up to you.
Is it decentralized? Uh, Custom.
That's a great question for a private. conversation. And also use this information to become a sovereign citizen. No, you pretty much are what you claim to be. Um, this information puts you, it keeps you in a private vehicle with private benefits. And when you deal with things in private, you usually get the resolution. But self-proclaiming to be sovereign with papers that you have to put into their system always comes with a risk. It always comes with a risk. The only reason I talk about them is to make sure that people are putting proper documents out there.
Ooh.
There you go.
Yes, here's my big no-no. You can't be both a sovereign and a citizen. Those are two respective powers that are not the same unless applied to a specific arrangement, meaning that there is a space in the way that the business dealings are handled that allows for those operations to exist cohesively, which is only proven through one vehicle, and that vehicle is the United States Constitution. So I would ask then, are you a party to the United States Constitution? If not, if you haven't demonstrated that you're a party to the Constitution, you cannot be both simultaneously. And even if you are both simultaneously, you are not part and parcel sovereign citizen. You are sovereign as the seat of government, meaning you have the power to enforce, to constrict, to apply acts of Congress through your actions. And if so, that logical chain going from there. But it's based on some other things. So to understand that aspect, that's a little bit bigger. You have to understand the microcosm, which what we talk about is microcosm is the contracts. You want to get to the big picture, you got to understand the small picture first, which is what keeps people in debt.
Mhm.
Because you are trespassing against others or you are being trespassed upon because you don't understand your relationship. You don't understand civics. Why are you not speaking up for yourself? Then, if you
Mhm.
are speaking up for yourself, why are you inappropriately defending yourself? How can you inappropriately defend yourself? Misrepresentation.
Point blank period.
That is what cripples you. Misrepresentation. So
Read the
don't do
book.
things before you're ready, but also don't live in fear. Those are the only conditions for achieving harmony.
Mhm. Rid yourself of fear, scarcity, and lack as immediately as possible, because you're not going to get anything to gain from that.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to move on your intuition or your inhibitions, as long as they're applied properly. You'll be more than fine. To read the book, meet your straw man. I encourage that.
It's a good starting point. And yes, that's a beautiful way to explain that essence. You've definitely been comprehending what you've been reading. And not an issue, Carl. It's good that you have the curiosity and the courage to explore what you're hearing about, what you're seeing, processing in real time. That's what this is. This is an opportunity to process and to learn and to grow. And you're doing this in a social setting. That means that you are getting the benefit of other peers. You are being
Mhm.
encouraged. So we're embracing that. Not here to upset anyone or hold you back, tell you you're wrong. Just want to give you the right frame to utilize to look at commerce effectively or more effectively.
Mhm. Amen. I do appreciate you guys' patience as well. So definitely continue to ask the questions that you guys are desiring to have answered. However, I'm telling you, the birth certificate router things is probably not where you want to start. I wouldn't suggest it. That is damn near expert level commerce. Your thoughts on land recordings? What do you think about those, brother? Some Lodial titles.
Ooh, I think that those are all to the good, but in order to have allodial anything, you must be in equity. You must revest in the estate. You must be an heir apparent. You must have a equitable claim for private enjoyment. So, yes, can it be done? But again, like Coach Brown said, expert level. Not just for someone who is trying to get out of day-to-day affairs. You got to
Hmm.
have space on your plate to deal with that because there is some work to be done. But the benefit, the reward is protecting yourself and your potential heirs so that they can enjoy what you have enjoyed.
Hmm. With protection.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what it's about.
And
And
recognition, not just
recognition.
protection, but recognition. Recognition is the enforcement of your peers,
Hmm.
not as enemies, but as allies. It's important.
Very, very important, fam. For that LLC, I'm an entrepreneur. I've also spent my time creating NFTs and cryptos. Keep at it, man. I don't see, I like what I just read. Just know how to apply these things. Going back into your previous content research. Yes. Take your time with it. Then when you're ready to become a student, come on board. Those are just kind of like your prerequisites of awareness right there. I never listed my coin, but I want to.
Yep. Thank you for the engagement. Thank you for the questions, comments, just general affirmations. Your energy is received and appreciated. We're extended to you through this vehicle, our energy, our attention as well. So this is what helps to elevate you. You're elevating us by receiving it because this is what we have set aside time to do.
Hmm. And it's all for you guys. How do you become a student? Post the link in here one more time.
What's
Yep,
good,
that's
Unc? I see you in there.
oh, he popped up.
Yeah.
What's up, huh? Another guy that saved me from myself, man. Him and Sam. The
Yes, sir.
ones that put me on the proper trajectory, and I'm speaking with eloquence and patience. So I'm glad to have you on board, Miss Alicia. Right. Yep, they got the likes up pretty high. Appreciate it, guys. Sincerely. Let's pump these things out. Let's get people aware.
Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Alicia. Yes, sir. And Mr. Sandman, with
Sandman.
respect to your question, glad you found us, but you benefit from us as much as you are ready and willing to learn.
Mhm.
So if you want to frame that differently, are you ready to learn? That's my question to you. Do you have a duty or responsibility to yourself that calls you to learn from me or from anything that we're talking about? If you don't, might not be to your benefit.
I'm learning daily. And that's encouraged. Keep at it.
Yeah.
Keep at it. When you're ready to get guided down the yellow brick road, we're here.
Absolutely.
Until then, you got a lot of free nuggets out here. A lot. Um, Waiting on a few more questions, guys, and let's tailor them. Let's tailor them to be answered. I
Yes.
think I got. Um, okay. So, which video is intriguing you guys the most outside of the birth certificate? That's the one that seems to have everybody going crazy. I'm down 1,000%. I'm so done with this rat race. I believe it. I believe it. Here's what can be done with the value of the birth certificate. I just saw the video. I hear you. All I can say is please become a student in order to get that true understanding. There's a lot that can be done with it. I'm just most people that ask the question aren't ready to apply it because once you get the administrative process down, you really understand how unnecessary it is.
Yes.
A shaky wizard said that is the only one. I want to see if he said something prior to that. Nope.
Is it able to cancel that? You can cancel an obligation in many ways. You can discharge an obligation in many ways. As an operation of law, there are several ways. Under a simple contract, performance discharges you of liability. So, something I would think of, what I freely give to you all, is the understanding that if you can meet the requirements for performance, you can absolve yourself, clear yourself, discharge yourself. Any of those phrases: settle, close, acquit yourself of liability with regards to contracts. And that is what a loan or a mortgage, really and truthfully, a loan is not a loan, it's a mortgage. It's a right of possession or use given by you to someone else, another bank, for a reason. Probably not to your benefit if you've not corrected that endorsement, restricted that endorsement. But beyond the point, the substance is you can do whatever you so choose with the proper application. So
Hmm.
demonstrating that, having that proper context. That's where you succeed. That's where you see the remedy, the benefit, and do your civic duty. You correct commerce, stabilize it, make it more competitive, more fair.
Hmm.
Yes, self-governance. That's truly it.
That's what they expect out of us. If you're going to stand tall, that you be able to govern yourself. All this information you have was no longer in account tonight doing this for the people.
I mean, there's several competent people. Someone who's on here on TikTok, if you like his content or have ever heard of him, Mansapan Hata, he tells people exactly how to endorse bills, and he does it. He's often on TikTok Live. That's someone who can tell you just specifically about that. What we're talking about, a little bit broader. It's a base. It's understanding of your relationships. How are you going into relationships? So if you understand how you're going into relationships, i.e., how you're contracting, how you're marrying yourself, your estate, you're joining and partnering with other entities, you can have a proper guidepost to remain in honor, because that's what we want. You want to get the benefit. You want to keep your standing and your name, your good name, unsullied.
Hmm.
The other contributor who does the lives, that was Mansa Mahata. You can look him up separately.
Yes.
There are plenty of people who are competent who talk about things that we've talked about.
Yes.
But if you're here, you're listening to us. This is by proxy what we're doing. But I was just answering something that somebody else said.
And yeah, I like him. I do. I like him a lot. He has a nice little charge to it, but like all content creators, it's worth it when applied properly. It is. Little Peeps 420 asks, "What are you doing?" Um, just on TikTok.
Just,
Unless it's something in particular you're asking.
I
I'm not trying to
think
belittle you, but
I
it's
think it was a
difficult.
specific question. I think I recognize that handle.
Okay.
And yeah, how do I fight paying property taxes on my house? Well, if you're trying to declare war with a entity that can claim pledges, voluntary pledges, I think the first thing that you would need to do is find out why it's voluntary. And if it's voluntary, show that you're no longer volunteering. That's the clearest answer I can give you without getting our channel. uh,
It's an honor. Everyone must learn these processes, not just to try to use to get free stuff.
yeah, so pace yourself. This is not.
That is absolutely true. If you're coming in to it with that mindset, you're not going to get anything from
Yes.
anyone, even if they're already freely giving it. So appreciate the energy that's out. Would you repeat the person who instructs how to endorse monthly bills, please? I said Mansa Mahata.
Yeah. If I can't, I'll try and type his name up here. We'll handle.
You got some good stuff. Pay them taxes with stamps. Man, Richard is on fire.
Yep.
Very aware. Thank you. You're helping out.
I don't know if I spelled that right, but you'll find him under that handle. He's
Yeah,
pretty
that's how you
consistent.
spell it. That's how you spell it. Mind you, he comes across a little differently than we do, but he can guide you on that process if that's what you are aspiring to have happen.
Do you know how I can make uh, Ruben? Could you reword that? And yes, you could do that. That is a provision of code that somebody asked me about earlier. How to use that or to apply that correctly would be 31 USC 5118 with respect to what Richard just said. So you want a reference point or a guidepost, read that, understand that, comprehend what that speaks about, who that's relative to, and then you can fish for some more insight.
Poor papers say. Group levy. Well, you have to make them explain themselves sometimes. That's where you have that forensic analysis. Maybe that's something I could proctor tomorrow a little bit.
1 second.
Do you know how I can make a repayment bond for my car? And if that's what the court papers say, they need to explain themselves. The same way you make them explain themselves whenever they send you a summons and they have two different names on there. They cannot speak to anyone dead. No one dead can read because they are not conscious. So make them give it to you in living terms. Third party wants 15,500.
Interesting. You actually just gave me something to look up. But once I got the substance of what you were asking about regarding that bond, that is about a bailment. So, with respect to a bailment, who is the bailor? Who is the bailee? Bailor meaning the one who is granting possession. Bailee being the one who is given custody of possession. So, said differently, who granted that? It couldn't have been them if they're telling you and requesting something. They're requesting a type of permission with respect to that custody. So, way to clarify that would be your instruction. Be very clear, be very precise.
Mm-hmm.
But again, the reference point you have for that is a bailment.
Too much to send me an email. Let me see. I'm gonna check now, family.
Yes, sir. I'll be back here in a second.
Yes, sir. But they want me to file Republic bond to get possession of my car because I was sued. Looks like you need a consultation so that we can properly guide you in this direction. Because it'd be too much to speak on here about it. But if they're giving you instructions, all you have to do is follow them. A lot of the times it is that simple. And what's included in the gold tier? Well, let me just pull it up. There's a lot. All right, so what's included is the complete post archive, general support, early ticket access, video tutorials and lessons, digital ebooks and publications, exclusive content. You can do phone calls with us in the private community. And with our students, once we give them a month and then we give them a quiz, if they do well enough on that quiz, we will embark on helping them complete a process. So that'll be like one bill or one presentment, and we'll walk you through that process, get that process handled, and relinquish you from that obligation through yourself. And then you continue to learn so that you'll be able to do these things even more. That's the whole purpose of why we have encouraged you guys to become students so that you can do this process on your own and not need us and get rid of all these other obligations that's weighing you down. So, see, man, I want to explode on here with the info, but they will cut y'all's live. Be be mindful, brother. We need equity here. See, but I definitely appreciate it because you're kicking some game. That's needed. That is needed. That's why we study and we practice what is being preached. If everyone on here must learn these processes, not just to try to use it to get some free stuff. And then that's pretty big there. And what's the website to authenticate for California? You'd have to go to California's what was it, Secretary of State, and look at their authentication department and call them to get further clarification. I'm not in California, but when you're dealing with an authentication for a state, you want to deal directly with the state and its authentication department. Glad I can help. What else we got, family? Anything else? Because I'm definitely going to get ready to get off of here. I think we've been on here since about 9. I'm hoping that we were able to answer as many questions as possible. And if you guys want to contact me, I have an email button you can click and book a consultation, or you can just become a student on the Patreon, preferably a gold member, but that way we can get in direct contact with you. Just because we are gearing all of our focus directly on our students. Even the videos that I'm putting out are for them. But we want to make sure everyone has the opportunity to enlighten themselves.
Yes, sir. Thank you all for your energy and attention. And yes, I'm about ready to sign off as well, Al. I mean, Coach
Hey,
Brown.
I'm with you. I'm with you. And it is time to rest our minds because we got more work to do tomorrow.
Yes, a lot more preparation. Some other things I gotta. Um,
So just know the proof is in the pudding, guys. Like this is literally what we do for a living. So
yep.
that says a lot.
No punch
So
clock
punch the clock.
whatsoever.
So come join us. Come be a part of this whole village that we're creating. And, I'm just extremely proud of these guys. They did great today. So,
Trust credits, better than that. What's better than having trust credit? Cool. What's better than that? There's something better than that. That's one aspect of remedy. Another
hmm
aspect of remedy is getting people to do exactly what you want them to do. Because the money is secondary. Me personally, I want that credit limit.
hmm
Something else. That's talking about your how you manage your affairs. Yes.
hmm This Richard dude is going
Oh,
in.
don't speak too much about that. Like that's the goal for all my students, but not everybody wants to do everything that way. Yes, but that is the
hmm Who knows about that, baby? Come on, man. You're gonna get me in trouble. Get me in trouble. This is see, you got to get ready to roll. Mr. Richard, I appreciate your guidance. And Brother Brown, appreciate you for coming on.
always.
But all in all, family, hope this helps. I love you.
Yep. And Rich, I have understanding. I'll leave you with that. We'll talk offline.
Contact Sam. All right, brother.
Yes, sir. Peace.